say hello now to our next guest. This is Stephen Sikes. He is the COO at Public.com. He joins us here on the trading floor of the New York Stock Exchange. My man, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Quite the day and quite the brokerage and quite the platform that you and the team at Public have built and scaled steadily. Talk to me first and foremost about how you've seen kind of the general flow of what's called an agentic brokerage evolve in 2025 and what it means for Public next year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've built Public to stand for serious investors and help people that really want to have great outcomes in the markets. And I think one of the things that we keep hearing as people start to experiment with generative AI, LLMs, is that they want their brokerage to operate kind of how their sort of ChatGPT, their Gemini, their XAI, how Grok works, right? And I think they want to be able to have this generalizable platform. Hey, I want you to monitor my bank account, and if it gets above a certain level, I want you to sweep some money and buy my favorite stock or invest in my overall index strategy, whatever it is. And I think what we're working towards is building a platform that sort of supports that generalizability. Instead of always having to think of every single thing that every member wants, every feature, and really build that into the platform, we're going to give folks a UI that lets them use all of the breadth of our platform to have sort of exactly the outcome they want.
Stephen, do you have a personally favorite way that the company has used AI to really reach retail investors where they are?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of our generated assets platform, right? Hey, I have a trading account, do a little bit of trading, but really at my core, I'm a long-term buy and hold passive investor. But because the industry I work in, I have a lot of points of view around exactly who and what kind of companies I want to be invested in. For instance, I have a long thesis that I've held for a long time about founder-led companies, right? And hey, finding an ETF that matches exactly that thesis is tough and doesn't really exist. So I've used generated assets to build a founder-led index, totally customized to exactly what I want. I get to go in and tweak the individual names and the allocations, and I get to continually invest in that index, and it tracks it over time.
Oh, that is very cool. I love that. Talk to me a bit more about what you're seeing in terms of retail investor appetite and interest, specifically in things like cryptocurrency-based products. I'd have to imagine as the conversation has really heated up here in 2025, that kind of changes a little bit for the average user on Public.
Yeah, totally. I think when you started out today, you said, hey, most of the crypto majors are down, right? What we've seen from crypto investors over the last few months and retail as a whole is that they're really shifting towards quality and buying some of these dips. Like if we look at the last couple of months, if we look at October and November, those were Public's the two of the three best months we've ever had in terms of Bitcoin net flows, right? Net inflows into Bitcoin, right? Trading volumes are about where they've been, but what we see is it's all on the buy side, right? Everyone is sort of buying these dips, continuing to buy heavily into the high quality crypto assets, and that's come at the expense of the meme coins, the more speculative trade, the more active trading in crypto, which is a really interesting trend leading into next year and one that we see continuing.
Stephen, there's been an interesting narrative here on Wall Street this year, which if you go back to the Liberation Day lows of Monday, April 7th, that institutional dollars kind of backed away from the market, but it was retail investors who said, no, I want some of this action now that the rest of the year has basically played itself out. Is that what you saw from the users on your platform?
Totally. I mean, again, I think our investor, right, digitally native, sophisticated, really wanting to have the best outcome they can, they've been trained over their lives to buy the dip, right? We're approaching or at all-time highs across the major indices, and every time it goes down, we've achieved a new high. And so I think we've taught retail investors to continue to buy the dip, and they do across the board, whether it's crypto, like I just said, whether it's in full indices, or whether it's even individual names.
Stephen Sikes is the COO at Public.com. You and the team from Public are always welcome here at the Exchange and on the show. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.